Well, after the last episode, I think we have nailed what our weakness is, and that is our drivers. Pierre Gasly's not too bad, but Danny Kvyat, he's going at the end of the season. Hello, welcome to Season 2, Episode 17 of Race to the Top. I'm Ian, and in today's episode, of course, we have the 10 days up to Ardennes, and then, of course, the qualifying. There are a couple of things that I want to get through before we sort of start going through days. That is, we've got a couple of sponsor offers. We should be getting them within the next 10 days. Here on the rear wing end plate, try and get that, it's quite difficult to say, and right here around by the driver's head. So we should be getting lots of money. So that's why, because we're doing very well. We're picking up 2 million quid a race, and we've still got quite a few races to go here. We've still got at least 7 races to go. So that's giving us another 14 million. So we're looking at around 28 million pounds at the end of this season, which is a good deal of money. But what I want to do, because we're going to have so much money, we probably may even have some money left over. We need to find some drivers, don't we? We need to replace Danny Kvyat. Gasly as well, we can probably look at replacing him, but his contract goes for another year, as you will probably remember. So I'm not so sold on having someone like that, getting rid of them so soon, because it's just going to cost us a lot of money. So what you may see here is we're starting to scout some drivers. We've got 4 drivers currently scouting, and then we've got in the queue, we've got another one. All of these drivers that we're scouting, their contract ends at the end of this season. So that puts us in a pretty good position to sign someone pretty decent. There is a few other sort of big names, like Raikkonen, for instance, and of course you've got people like Rubens Barrichello, who's about to collect his pension. You got Kamui Kobayashi, that sort of thing. But they're not the sort of people that I'm looking at. This is the big one. This is the guy that I want to bring to Toro Rosso. I don't know how likely it is to grab him, but he's going to be pretty good. Valtteri Bottas, he's a decent driver in real life, and he would really elevate our team, Toro Rosso. One of the good things about this game is I don't think drivers really factor in too much about where you are in the championship. As long as you give them decent money, they're happy. This is the other guy. He's only 22, Timothy Beret. He's French. He's not bad either. I mean, as you can see, we don't really know, and we're hoping that they'll get a bit more accurate, these attributes. But as you can see, they're not that great. But that's why I sort of figured, hey, we'll scout him, see what he can do, because he's currently in, I believe it's LMP1, I believe. Then, of course, you got the famous name, Jean-Eric Vergne as well. He's another decent driver. Never really got his chance in Formula One. Ratings aren't the best, as you can see. But again, let's wait and see what the scouting says. Then you got this guy. Now, this guy, Joel Eriksson, you may remember him in the first season when we were in with Koiranen. He's racing for Motorsport, and he's very young. He's only 19 years of age, so he might not be ready for Formula One, because as you can see, his fitness is very low, his feedback's not great, focus is poor. But, I mean, if he's braking and cornering sort of up around the 13s, then he might be worth having a bit of a stab. And then the last one, he's a youngster as well, 17-year-old Alesi. He's racing for Trident in Formula 2. I believe he's their reserve driver, so he must have been the reserve driver in 2016 as well. He's a bit of a gamble at such a young age. I'm hoping to find someone like a Max Verstappen, but let's be realistic. I don't think he's a sort of a once in a lifetime sort of talent for his age. So I'm not holding out too much hope. But people like Valtteri Bottas, for instance, he's a really, really he's my sort of my star potential. He's the one that I really want to go for. So we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, we're scouting him. It'll take 11 days, so we will be finding that out after Ardennes, which is, of course, tomorrow's race. I'll talk about the weather when we get a bit closer to it. Let's quickly get through the mail then. Yes, let's have an interview with Canal. You attempted a quick pit stop for Gasly during the last race, but it resulted in a mistake. Your very own chairman criticised the move, saying that motorsport isn't the place for gambling. I'm going to say we have to go for it. And for some reason, that really annoys drivers. I don't know why. Yeah, we had one pit mistake. That is really frustrating. We will talk about the pit crew as well when we get a little bit closer to Ardennes, because we do need to sort that out. So let's have a quick look at the car then. So Ardennes, the engine's top speed, the engine, which is the top speed, is crucial. Then you got the front wing, which is the low speed corners, and acceleration is quite useful. So we are still going to be looking at improving what we can. As we got here, the engine, which, there's a couple of pips here and there that we could be improving. Rear wing, we can keep improving that. I still want to keep improving these brakes as well. They are slowly getting up there. But we need to get this engine working and firing on all cylinders as much as we can. Front wing, we could probably do a little bit of work on the front wing because that would be good, especially because of the bottom front wing there. That's maxed out. The one at the top there, 908. There's still what's that? Six pips of performance that we can eke out of it. And then suspension down here, we can definitely still work on that. I mean, in fact, what we could do, as the engine's quite crucial, we might even bump that up and leave suspension for now, and we'll go say 16.4, maybe 17.3 actually, just because, as you can see, reliability is pretty good across the board. We don't really have to worry too much about things. What I might do is I might bump up the reliability on those brakes up there. They're at 85%, just to keep things ticking over. Let's do the pit crew, and then we can have a quick look at the sponsors. So it was the front right that made the mistake. Deli Fogley. Is that how you say the name? No idea. 28-year-old female, Naomi Deli Fogley. You stuffed up. So you're going to have to come out. So she's not too bad. She's got decent tyre changing ability there at 18. So what I might do is I might swap her for Onka, which is the one that made the mistake last time. So that could work out to really hamper us a little bit. This is going to be really tough. We might even have to bring in someone new, like this one, Kaneoka, 21 years old. Look at this, fantastic tyre changing ability, not bad at the front jack. Let's bring her in. It's going to cost us a little bit of money, but it's definitely worth it because we're sort of running a little bit low here on people we can use. Because what I'm thinking is at 20, she can come in for, let's say, Candido on the front jack. And then Candido can replace Strabello in the back right. And that just reduces that down. Because with these mistake percentage chances are still quite high at the front. So if we're going to see any mistakes, it's going to be at the front, unfortunately. We can definitely change the rear. What are they? What are those positions called? The fixers? Is that what you call them? The fixers? The front wing changes? We can bring them in 0.1%. That's pretty good. There's not really much else we can do because everyone's pretty much where they should be. And like these three are in need of a break. And same with Di Balsamo. Onka's come back. She had a couple of days off, a couple of races rather. And then you got like Ciccioli. He's again a little bit high, so we've got to be careful of them. So we could see mistakes on the front again, which I wouldn't be too thrilled about because I don't really like my chances here in Ardennes. Again, because the engine's so crucial and we don't have the best engine, so we're not really expecting much. But if we're running up there in the up near the points, I'll be really disappointed if we don't get anything. So we've got a couple of options from Randstad, and then we've got Hilton as well. But again, there's a target position. I don't want to go for target positions. It's quite an easy one to achieve, I think. But look, we're getting the fixed pay per race of just over £500,000. It seems silly not to choose that option. And the other option as well, let's have a quick look. They're all 2 stars. So upfront payment. So we can either have Citrix or NEC. It doesn't really matter, does it? I don't really care. Let's go Citrix just for the aesthetic reasons. Gives us an extra couple of mil. So that puts us up to nearly 15 mil, which again, when you think if we got another 14 million coming on top of that, so we could be close to 30 million at the end of this season, which again, if Valtteri Bottas becomes available, we have to have a go. Let's wait and see. So let's keep going. We've got 9 days now to go. So really, I mean, it's quite tricky to say how we're going to do for the rest of the season. Because we're not designing any parts, we're going to start falling a little bit down in the pecking order, I think. And hopefully those 9 points that we've got should be enough. But let's quickly talk about Ardennes. So it's a 51-lap race. The lap record's a 1:39.3. And Sunday's showing a 40% chance of rain. I did say I'll talk about the weather. As you can see, there is rain expected in the race. Practice, not so much, bit of both. Qualifying should be sunny though, so qualifying should be a bit of a leveler. And what I might do, if the rain sort of is on and off through practice, or what I may do is I may completely skip qualifying trim altogether and just focus on the race trim and hope that rain comes down. But then that 40% doesn't really tell us anything. We've had so many races in this series where 40% you think, oh, it's going to rain, and then nothing happened. So Ferrari are expected to dominate here because they've got, I'm guessing, the strongest engine. I've got no idea. And the tyre compound, super soft, the soft, and the medium. So Danny Kvyat's still whinging. I don't care. He's basically the the Joey Mawson of Toro Rosso at the moment. And what I did see when we're scrolling through the drivers page, there was Joey Mawson popped up, and he's still at Coirinen, so he must still be the reserve driver in Coirinen in Formula 2. We've got 3 days. Let's keep going. Come on. I just want to get to Ardennes. I want to get this season over with, because I'm pretty excited for next season, because that bank balance looks pretty tasty at the moment, and we've still got many races to go. Pre-race gossip, yeah, Kvyat's hoping for an upturn in the team's fortunes this weekend. Yeah, he should be. So what we are talking about as well in the next GMA vote is the standard merit payments. So basically reducing the difference between the tops and the bottom. I personally don't really want that. I quite like it the way it is, because it would also, obviously, when we start improving, it starts helping us and doesn't make it quite as difficult to climb. If everyone's on the same money or very, very similar money, it makes it a lot harder to climb the ladder. But hey, look, when's that? That's in a week, so that's in 2 episodes from now. Not tomorrow, it'll be in the episode after that. So let's have a quick look then. So let's have a quick look at the cars. Let's see how everything's doing. So we've managed to get those brakes up to 912 now, so we're very close to maxing them out. Now, what I'm thinking of doing, I'm still undecided about who to give these parts to, because at the moment they're still equal status, and Pierre Gasly's not too bad. He finished behind Kvyat in the previous race, but let's not forget Gasly did have to have the mistake during the pit stop, the worst pit stop to do it, because everyone came in at the same time, so he really missed out, and he only just finished behind Kvyat, and Kvyat's got the better car. So I am half tempted to sort of give all the parts to Gasly, but then Kvyat, if we have a quick look at Kvyat, the big thing that really annoys me about him is his consistency, right in the middle. It's a 10. That's why he's so all over the place. And then, of course, all these driver traits as well, they don't help. So let's get into it. Track A, of course, is the only track. It's a high fuel burn with very low tyre wear, heavy rain in practice, heavy rain in the race. Qualifying should be clear. I'll see you for that. Well, it was another mixed bag from the drivers. Kvyat was P10 in practice, which was really, really good. I was really impressed, actually, with how quick he was. Pierre Gasly, not so much. He was down in P19. One of the good things, though, is we did manage to get a little bit for the intermediate tyres. We managed to max our race trim, and we did get a little bit for soft tyres, which will really, really help Gasly, because, of course, as we know, because I've done it twice now, on those soft tyres, he can just go for, sort of 2/3 of the race on soft tyres. So that's why we sort of focused on the soft tyres as much as we could. The rain came down with about a third of practice session left, so we did manage to get a little bit on our intermediate tyres. They won't be of much use, obviously, if the rain doesn't come down, which is really, really frustrating. But what I'm hoping to do is, like before, there is no rain forecast in this session, so I am hoping to be able to get out and do a couple of timed laps here in qualifying, so we're going to sort of send them out quite early. I'm just going to sort of double check that everything's good. I may even adjust him just a little bit, because his speed balance is right down there, isn't it? That's a bit frustrating, so I may even sort of bump that back up that way. Let's go like that. This is going to be really, really tricky. There you go. That should keep Gasly happy. I couldn't seem to get that speed balance. What I normally do is I normally sort of do like one lap, bring them in, one lap, bring them in, and then right at the end just send them out for as long as possible. But this time I thought, because that rain's coming down, we need to get those times, we need to get the knowledge down as much as we can. So I sort of thought I'd send them out and then just sort of worry about the strategy, the car setup afterwards. That's why I've sort of done things a little bit differently this time. Let's hope it pays off, because we're sort of sending our boys out straight away. So Kvyat's leading the way. I don't know why I send Kvyat out first. I think if he doesn't do well in this session, then in this lap, then Gasly can go out first next time. Otherwise, Gasly was a long way off the pace, and I think he would have picked up towards the end of the session, but of course the rain came down, so it's very difficult to make any time up. Once the rain comes down, obviously you're not gonna improve on time set on super softs and the like. So in terms of race strategy then, obviously it hinges when that rain comes down, but I'm sort of thinking that keeping Gasly on that same strategy that we've been doing, putting him on the soft tyres at the start of the race and then trying to go half race distance on the soft tyres. So if the rain comes down, we can sort of see how we're going. Now, it does look like it's getting very, very dark here, but Kvyat's setting his lap. Gasly did nail his tyres, didn't do too well on his brakes, though, so they're going to be setting the first times. Yeah, so I think if the rain stays off, it puts Gasly in a good position to do a one-stopper. Kvyat, I don't know how we can do it, what we can do with him. It really hinges on where he qualifies. Because he's so inconsistent, he could be 9th, he could be 18th. We just don't know with Kvyat, so we may have to sort of play it by ear in tomorrow's episode. Kvyat and Gasly, they aren't doing too badly. They're 3/10 down. They're setting quite similar times here. Gasly's got a little bit of traffic. It looks like the Ferrari of... It's got to be Raikkonen then, because it's not Vettel. Yep, so Raikkonen's sort of in the way of Gasly a little bit there. But, I mean, to be fair, I bet even on Raikkonen's outlap, he's not going to be holding Gasly up too much, so... because we are just that bad. So Hamilton will be setting the fastest provisional lap at the moment because he's gone purple in the first two. So Gasly's gone fastest, though, with a 1:29.2, and then Hamilton's just blown them both out of the water. But Gasly is up at the moment, and it takes 1:40 to get around on an outlap. So we're going to try and do, unless the sort of forecasting rain to come down, we're going to try and do what we've done before. We're going to get to around 2 minutes, maybe 2 minutes 10, just to err on the side of caution, and then send them out once again. I may even allow Kvyat to go out first, just because Gasly then will get that little bit more grip on the circuit. But as we've seen in the last couple of episodes, what we've been finding is both our drivers set pretty good laps in the first sort of half of the session. Then when the second session comes around, nothing really happens, which is a bit unfortunate. They tend to sort of struggle in that sort of final sector. So both our guys have gone in. Gasly's doing very, very well. He's still sitting in 10th. Soto Jr. is going around at the moment. There he's going to go. He crosses the line there with so he's over 1.5 seconds behind, and Gasly's up in 10th. Kvyat all the way down in 15th place. There's 4 minutes 40 to go at the moment. Now, what I will mention in practice was Webber and Grosjean for Haas. They were in between us. We had Kvyat in 10th, and I believe Webber was 11th, and Grosjean was sort of around here, 14th, 15th, something like that. The Renaults, they were in between us as well. Of course, Team Rapax, they were right down the bottom. They were actually, Gasly was split in between them. They were 18th and 20th, but I'm not too concerned about that. Lap times are nothing. Kvyat's getting a little bit frustrated because he wants to go back out, but hey, we are going to sit here and we are going to wait until the very last moment. I might send Kvyat out first. Let's keep an eye on that track grip. Now, expect that to fall ego, and you may even just be able to see them sort of dropping a little bit there, because unfortunately we are looking at sort of the cloud, so the track's not going to be gripping up as much as we sort of thought here. Now, everyone's going out again, so we are going to be able to go out now. Actually, no, I'm getting a little bit confused here. We've got 2 minutes 55. Let's leave it as everyone's going out for their second goes. Let's send Kvyat out now then. So he's out of the way of Gasly, because I want Gasly to have a real stab at this right towards the end of the session. So we can keep an eye on Kvyat. I'm going to be keeping an eye on the time, so you keep an eye on Kvyat and let me know how he's going, because I'm going to be watching that time like a hawk. I'm basically going to be sort of sending Gasly out soon, basically. Everyone's sort of going out now. Yep, so Gasly will be the last one across the line. So let's send him out. So there's going to be a bit of a gap between Gasly and Kvyat, but we can cut to Kvyat because he's going to be on his flying lap long before Gasly will. But at the moment, look, everyone's sort of improving on their time. So Webber's not. That's good, but Grosjean is. Hulkenberg's improving. Science is only improved in the second sector. So they're the ones that we're watching, remember. Grosjean, Webber, Science, Hulkenberg, and to a lesser extent, the Rapax boys of Soto Jr. and De Vries. That's it. I couldn't think of his name. He's that bad. So Science crosses the line, and he has improved to bump Gasly out of the top 10, but of course Gasly's still yet to go around. So Kvyat overheated on his brakes and didn't do very well on his tyres, so don't expect Kvyat to do very much. Keep an eye on Gasly. Gasly's not done much either. He's struggling a little bit, as you can see there. He's struggling just to get those brake temperatures down. Let's see what he can do. Good and great. That's so-so, isn't it? But Kvyat is up on his time, and that's a good time by Kvyat. This could be a fantastic lap from him. So Gasly's starting his lap, so you're going to have to watch those sector times down there, because he's the man that we're sort of hoping that improves quite a bit, because Webber's actually just jumped Gasly. Gasly's now fallen down to 13th, because everyone seems to be improving. Bottas has now set provisional pole. Now, Kvyat's gone quickest again. He's improved on his personal best in Sector 2. Same with Gasly, but Gasly's not as good as Kvyat at the moment after that first sector. So Kvyat's going to cross the line now. What does he come into? And he moves up to 16th. So Gasly's already up on him. And he's still going around on his lap. He doesn't improve on his second sector there. It looks like he had a little bit of traffic. And that looks like it's a McLaren that was holding him up. So I don't know who that is. That's possibly Button. Or maybe even Alonso. This could be interesting. Does Gasly improve on his P14? No, he doesn't. So Webber and Sainz Jr. move ahead, and Sissotto Jr. right up there. But look at the times. Not much between Webber and Gasly. 2/1000th of a second is all that separated them. Vettel ends up nabbing pole at the last as well, ahead of Valtteri Bottas. So we'll quickly cut back to Vettel, whether we want to or not. But 14th and 16th, that's becoming a little bit of a thing for us, isn't it? Those positions are very, very well known to the Toro Rosso boys. But I can't be too disappointed. 14th, 16th, that's kind of what we expected. Hulkenberg behind us, surprisingly. Same with Romain Grosjean, Nick De Vries down there. So Sissotto Jr., expect to see them fall away. They obviously seem to really, really focus on qualifying and then didn't really do much in the race. I'll start again, shall I? In the practice, they've obviously focused on the qualifying trim and not so much on the race trim, which is possibly why they've done as well as they did. But then in saying that, Nick De Vries is a long way down as well. And we're sort of just in the middle. We're a bit of a bleh at the moment. But hopefully some rain can come and make things interesting. Yeah, so thanks for watching. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for the Ardennes race, where we are starting 14th and 16th, which, hey, I might as well just use the same outro for every qualifying episode for the rest of the season, because it seems like it's always 14th and 16th. See you then.